Hello, everyone. I'm Ben Coleman, one of your hosts here at the Florida Aviation Network, coming to you broadcasting live and in the clear from the terminal building at Sebring Regional Airport at the U.S. Sport Aviation EXPO 2019. What a good day it's been, and we're getting up to the short end of our remaining day, but we always save the best for last, unless you are on first, and then we put the best on first and save the worst for last. But in this case, we save the best for last. Bristol Aircraft, Mr. John Rathmell.
Hi, Ben.
John, you're the
Nice
best.
to see you. Thank
You're the
you,
best. Tell us a little bit what's coming up new down the pike. Everybody knows Bristol Aircraft.
Yeah.
It's not Bristol, it's Bristol.
Bristol, that's right.
Tell us a
Yeah.
little bit what's coming down the line for Bristol.
Well, we're really fortunate this year. As you probably know, one of the best things that's happening is we've got fantastic factory support from our end, and they doubled factory size again for us, and they're also doubled the amount of aircraft that they could produce. And our dealership here in the United States, our importership, we become the #1 dealer for Bristol in the world, and we're trying to continue to lead the way on that support side. So kind of what a cool new thing is, if I'm not mistaken, based on the numbers that Dan Johnson reported, that we've become the #1 import in terms of sales in the United States. So since we saw you last over at Sun and Fun last year, we had a really good run with our customers, and we've had a lot of successes. So that has changed. We moved in the first #1 slot, so we might be the best for last. We might be.
I'm going with that. I'm going with that. But, John, can you? Some people get all wrapped up with numbers, but would you feel comfortable talking numbers? What have you sold?
Yeah. Well, this year we put out 22. We put out 22 aircraft into the U.S. sport market, which is interesting because that doesn't sound like a heck of a lot of number of aircraft, but we're pretty fortunate that I think in light sport aviation is a great start to what I think is going to be a legacy of steady, long, slow growth.
Well, the only reason I brought that up, I knew it was a low number, but relatively speaking, right. I mean, because
compared to cars and other
other thing, mass, stamp them out, production type thing. Right. But I know that, and we'll still be around. Yeah. We're not that old yet. We're getting older, but I've got a feeling that we will be having the same conversation when you're talking about 300, 400, 500 a year sales.
Right.
Which having, you guys are getting geared up for that.
That's right.
The sector. You doubled your factory.
Right.
And so you're getting into this pace of making more than 2 a month.
Right.
So when we start getting up to the orders and the volume, and I did not realize, I got to admit, I didn't know that the Sebring Flight Academy and you had kind of sidled up on somewhat of a partnership. And what a great concept.
Yeah, that's largely due to Lou Mancuso, my partner and the innovator in this whole process. Lou's been great. We have a flight school with the Bristol in it for the last couple of years. That was started by a guy named John Calla. He's our sales rep for down here in Florida. So we've got a nice network of folks, but Lou's innovating a lot, bringing forward that sort of, if you remember last year we talked about our coin. I don't know how easy it is to bring that in, but I think if I'm not mistaken, if you don't have a coin, you got to buy Coca-Colas at the bar. And
whatever beverage you want, John.
I think I provided you with a coin, and if you don't have
it's on my nightstand. I admit it. I met everybody and their brother and their sister, mother, father, everybody. Owe this man a beverage.
A cold Coca-Cola.
A beverage. Whatever. Okay. Appreciate that, John.
So on the back of that coin, we memorialize some of Lou's landing doctor protocols, and here at the Academy, they'll be doing that here down in Florida. So it's kind of cool. So that's a neat coin we do, just like you'd have sort of in the military. You'd.
I'm getting a white background for you. We're gonna zoom in on this because he got me this time. He won't get me next time.
We developed the coins just like you would have as a loyalty device in a military unit. And we also had this fun thing in the report that comes from sharing the coin back and forth between everybody. And and it memorializes our training program when you complete the training program and can follow the define, go around, point, our personal limitations checklist, and DF gap. That particular coin helps us remind everybody once they do it, they get a call sign written in on the back of the coin. So it's kind of neat. It's integrated safety into the aircraft and how we do it. We were talking about some of our successes. There are currently 400 airplanes in the world, you know, and of the Bristells, and we're coming on now with 50 in the United States. So we're rapidly improving the total number of airplanes out there, and our depreciation, for instance, some interesting things we don't always get to talk about. Depreciation on our plane seems to be far less than other models. Not to degrade any of our other. We would love to see the light sport category flourishing and doing really well, and we love the way that the guys are continuing to innovate. But we have a really great Garmin package. It leads to a safer and a technologically advanced aircraft that you can do training in. But you know, our customers really love that Garmin package.
And the retention of value.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
It's holding up there pretty well.
Well, and maintenance. An awful lot depends on the maintenance and
That's
the
exactly right.
maintainability.
That's right.
I guess is the thing.
Yeah.
Just to switch gears, you're on your coin. It's whoever's in possession of the coin. Is that what it is?
Yes, that's right.
Where's your coin, Scott?
I have another one.
Damn. Damn. All right, never mind.
You mean
blew
you
that
mean
one?
that?
All right, you're good. You're
You
good.
keep that one.
Okay.
That's
All right. You won't get me again this
I
trip.
know.
Oh man. All right. I tried. I was kind of
Fair attempt.
Okay.
Fair attempt.
Bristol and the sport, the Piper Sport. What's the relationship between the Sport Cruiser and Piper
The
and
fact,
Bristol?
the relationship is interesting. The designer that was with the Sport Cruiser organization in a previous life, he helped design that aircraft previously, and currently, sorry about that. That he helped design that airplane previously, and now he went out on his own, redesigned this Bristol 3D AutoCAD from the ground up. His background was vibration fatigue, and he designed a lot of the vibration fatigue out of previous designs, and has an airplane that's now, you were asking earlier, what will these airplanes be like at 13,000 hours? He pulled a lot of frame vibration out of previous designs that he had otherwise worked on, and now this airplane is, we do prop balances, and you can see even the smallest amount of a like a tie down screw in the wing, you can see that vibrating and know what's going on. We've pulled a lot of vibrations so that fatigue and that long-term build that should make that airplane stronger over a very long period of time of use.
Well, some folks may not realize that how damaging vibration is in an aircraft.
Right.
And also there's some, for example, some Type 20 Part 23 aircraft,
23, yeah.
where you get out of one and get into another one, and wow, this seems like a different airplane.
Right.
Are we in a turbine? No,
Right.
it's a piston.
Right.
But it's just a matter of just how smooth it is.
That's exactly right.
And and it's all a matter of balance and vibration.
Yeah, I'll put a plug in for the factory. If you get a chance, go to Bristol.com, BRM Aero, and have a look at the sophistication of our factory. It's pretty impressive. For here in the United States, we're at BristolAircraft.com, and you can reach us there if you're trying to look or spec a plane or try to figure out if this airplane's for you. It's really important for us to help do a consultative sale with our customers, and what the value, that long-term value we're building into that airplane for many years to come, I think. And we're planning on a long, slow, steady grow, man. We talked about that. There's ups and downs in airlines and in the airplane industry and in airlines, and it's really important. If we plan on a long, slow, steady grow, that's what we're working for.
Well, and it's the feeder. It's impressive to see that the Flight Academy here has an avenue that all it takes is really dedication.
That's exactly right.
From the kids' standpoint.
Yep.
Men, women, girls, boys. Well, at age 19, I guess they're women and men.
Yeah. What I really like to see happen is the airlines get interested in pulling those people through and maybe help them with some subsidies to get people interested. And so it's not such a big lift for an individual, because now it looks like some of those computer jobs are starting to pay a little bit better. You know, when I started in Allegheny Airlines way back when, at one of the commuter feeders, it was $22,000 a year. So those airlines, their shortage, I hope they don't take offense, but it lands back on their lap. They haven't really been just hoping that supply and demand will bring people through, but now they're really short on supply, so we're hoping to improve.
The demand for the price to go up too.
Right.
Back when I was affiliated with Comair, our start was 18.5.
Yeah.
I mean, it just.
How do you pay off a couple $100,000 in loans? So we're trying to really innovate there and see if we can't get folks to come through and learn what technologically advanced airplane this Bristol is. You don't need an Aero. You don't need other, traditional complex aircraft now. You can use our plane as a technologically advanced airplane, take you all the way through to ATP.
Crawl, walk, run. It's really the concept, and for feeding the industry with pilots and these aircraft, and there's so many on the market.
Yeah.
There's some really, really good ones.
Yeah.
There's some unique ones.
Yeah.
There's some unique good ones. But when you start coming up with the right airframe for the training aspect, it's got to be a special airplane.
Biggest in class. So when you're going to be shoulder to shoulder with somebody in 85-degree temperatures, this is the aircraft to do it in, because it's more like the aircraft cockpit you're going to be in later in life if you become a pilot for a business.
And it all depends on. And it sounds like it's a good overall aircraft. It's a trainer as well as a little commuter for a two-passenger commuter.
Yeah.
And it's. I really like the concept there, and it's very comfortable to sit in. If you haven't sat in a Bristol or the Piper Sport Cruiser, it's a very comfortable seating position.
Yeah.
And kind of hard to not fall asleep.
Maybe
the
most
warm days.
Maybe one of the most comfortable in the category.
Yeah.
And you'll see us again at of course, at Sun and Fun. We love being here at EXPO because it's a more relaxed environment. You have a little bit more time to talk to folks. At Sun and Fun, it gets a little bit busier, but we'll be there in Oshkosh. So it's not hard to get out and see us. Give us a call, and if there's an opportunity to get demos, they can catch us on the road as well.
Well, and demos, when they set up a demo flight, I know that they could probably come here to Sebring and fly with Brandt and his crew.
Right.
But are there other flight centers around the country
for
Bristol?
Well, what we have is a few places that are all continue to teach. We have pilot makers out at Salt Lake City in Utah. They're using the turbos out there, and we have our facility up in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. We are expanding into Texas this next year. You'll see a couple airplanes out there getting into some centers. So, we're slowly putting it out there. Yeah.
Well, and as far as the I know you would know from a sales standpoint.
Yeah.
What is your demographic as far as interested people? Is it professional types, or is it strictly engineers? Or
real combination. You got folks who've been flying for a lot of years, and they've been thinking about, let's say, maybe getting into a Cirrus, or they're dropping back from a Cirrus and they're going into something that's maybe a little more economical on a yearly basis to maintain. An annual on a Bristol, especially a new Bristol, run about $800. Compared to maybe a lot more on a Cirrus. I don't know exactly how much a Cirrus is, but it's not $800 usually.
That's just 4,000. Just 4,000. I didn't say 4,000.
No.
Okay.
So not that we're picking on the folks that do that, but I got guys that are or folks that are coming back down through that said, I really want a comfortable two-place airplane. My wife and I, or my husband and I, if she's an airline pilot, my husband and I can go in for a long trip. That's the airplane for me. And they are able to reduce their annual operating costs a great deal, because this airplane can operate on 4.5 gallon hour of car gas.
That's great.
Yeah.
And John, please help me.
Yes, sir.
Help me.
Yes, sir.
It's so important to the care and feeding of these airframes.
Yeah.
Whoever's operating these aircraft, please stuff $1 an hour back in a maintenance fund somewhere, just to help. When it comes time to actually have to buy and replace something, that you don't try to get it to last a little bit longer.
Right.
Let's go ahead and take it off. We know it's going to wear.
Right. And the Rotax engine, it's one of the things that to remind you, the Rotax engine comes with a recommended 5-year rubber swap out. So every year you want to set aside a little maintenance fund for that 2.5 to $4,000 expenditure. So it's not without its additional costs. You know, it's not sort of once and done, and you buy it for 20 years. That there's nothing else there.
Yeah.
I think you make a good point.
It's part of doing business.
Yes,
and
sir.
if you want to keep your airplane, keep that value high,
Right.
keep up on the maintenance.
Right. Exactly.
And we'll
right.
have. John, it's always a pleasure to talk
Thank
with
you, sir. My great pleasure.
It
Look
is a
forward to our
pleasure.
Coca-Cola.
And I got my coin this time, by golly. All right. Ben Coleman here with Florida Aviation Network. We're going to sign off from this interview. We'll see you next interview.